Hi, everybody. This is Angel Arts, and recently, as of this recording, they released the latest trailer or teaser for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I am a huge Final Fantasy fan, at least the classic Final Fantasies, and by classic, I mean pretty much Final Fantasies 1 through 10, basically. Even though 10 kind of is, I guess, more next generation Final Fantasies. It sort of like jumped. 1 through 6 was really classic, then Final Fantasy 7 was pretty much the next generation, and then I think 10 kind of made a small jump in the next generation once it was on the PS2. I think it was the PS2, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorites, one of my top favorite Final Fantasies of all time, and I think that is true for many people. And for a lot of gamers, Final Fantasy VII may have also been their very first Final Fantasy game that they ever played, just because, again, the technology at that time, when went from the Nintendo and Super Nintendo versions of the Final Fantasies and jumped right into the PlayStation Final Fantasies, I think that ended up being catered to a more universal audience once that technology jump happened. And so, but I'm very old school and I enjoy many, many, many of the older Final Fantasy games just as much, and in some cases even more, than some of the next generation Final Fantasies, including Final Fantasy VII and beyond. So, anyway, given that backstory of my fandom for Final Fantasy, I've been wanting, like so many other fans of the Final Fantasy VII game, wanting for the remake to happen forever. And it's one of those things where doesn't Square Enix, I was about to say Squaresoft because that's what they were before, don't they realize that so many people would be throwing money at this game if they would just make it already and produce it? And um, they're finally moving towards that. So without further ado, I'm going to watch this very brief minute-ish trailer and give you my initial reaction to it. I don't know how much in depth I'm gonna go. I may or may not pause in certain areas afterwards, but we'll see. I've been waiting and saving this for this moment. So let's check it out. The return draws closer. I like that. Oh, I love Eris. One of my favorite Final Fantasy characters of all time. Shinra. Oh, this looks great.
I'm here for you to help take the load off your shoulders.
That's got to be
What's your
Barrett.
next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Oh, I love Cloud's voice.
Here, this is for you.
He's exactly how I pictured he would. Who's voicing him? He sounds familiar. Oh, I love this already. It's so gorgeous.
Can you bear to see the planet suffer, Cloud?
Wow. More to come in June. Cool. All right. So they gave us a nice sneak peek of what looks like the early stage, like the original bombing mission stage of Final Fantasy VII, which just set up that story from the beginning into high gear. That was one of the best opening stages of of virtually any video game really that I've played. One of the best, especially during its time, and it really got the adrenaline pumping. I love the soundtrack, the music of Bombing Mission. You were still like a little confused as to what was going on and who all of these characters are, and but I love the presentation. It sounded like the soundtrack based on the music that they were playing in the background, the Bombing Mission music, but it was different, a different spin on the original Bombing Mission music, which I what I think is great. It's great that they're evolving some of the music. I probably will still end up missing the original soundtrack a lot. Similar to how when I was playing the Resident Evil 2 remake, the slight changes to the soundtracks of the original music that they did was fine, but in the end, I was like, I gotta listen to the original soundtrack because I just thought personally that the original soundtrack of Resident Evil 2 was much better. So we'll see if that holds true for Final Fantasy VII. Either way, I love how the characters look, the voice acting. Like we got to hear Barrett, we got to hear Eris, we got to hear Cloud. Cloud, for whatever reason, when I imagined what Cloud sounded like, that was spot on. What in my head he sounded like, even though he normally is a silent protagonist. But we didn't really get to see any of the other characters other than Vix and Wedge, and I'm not sure which one was Vix and which one's Wedge, or Biggs or Wedge, or Biggs. Biggs is female this time. I think Vix and Wedge, one of them. I think Biggs might have become female. Maybe that was a female. So I don't remember. I remember seeing something to that effect. So I could be completely wrong, and may have completely imagined it. But no, it was. It's a teaser, so it just gives you a little bit of a taste. We got to see a little bit of the combat menu and the combat system. It would have been nice if we got to see a limit break in there, but that's fine. Yeah, like it's super cool. I'm very excited. I'm not sure. I heard that they were going to release the game episodically, which I love. I know a lot of people don't like that because a lot of people purposely wait till all the full game is played, and then they'll play the whole thing from beginning to end once all of the episodes are out. And I understand that. That gameplay is not for me because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to just binge through a game all at once. I break it up. Having games like these broken up into separate chapters or separate episodes, much better for me personally for how I play games, because I'm not the kind of person who like needs to immediately see what happens next. I kind of like that there's a break in between. A lot of people I know, when they play like Telltale games or Life is Strange, they're like, oh, it's so frustrating because the episode's over and I can't play the next one. And I'm not like that. I'm like, oh yeah, the episode's over and now I have this nice little break and now I can like theorize. I have the time to theorize and figure out what could happen next, instead of, I can theorize with other people, just like in the Harry Potter books. I kind of miss that. When the books were being released, I miss the parts in between the books where I could actually theorize and talk to my fans about, what do you think is going to happen next? What do you think this means? How is this going to connect to the rest of the plot? But now that all the books are out, like, even if I had never read the Harry Potter books before, and just read, the series, but without like another book about to come out, you kind of lose the ability to talk to your friends about it in that way, because it's not the same, because many people could have read all the books already, whereas if they were still being released, there's that break in between. Nobody's read the other book, so that for sure whoever you're talking to doesn't actually know what's going to happen next. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I'm going to actually be able to Let's Play the Final Fantasy game, because of the fact that it's probably going to be released once my kid is born. And I'm sure obviously when kids are born, your schedule changes, your priorities change, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to Let's Play the game. I'm sure I will play the game, at least. I'm sure I will play the game. But I'm hoping I'll also be able to Let's Play the game. And my husband and I, we've talked and we said we're going to try really hard to arrange our schedules so that each like him and myself, can pick one or two things that that are really important for us to do because we just really enjoy it and we're really passionate about, and make our schedule such that we can take over looking after the child while the other person is able to do the thing that they're really passionate about that they would like to keep. So for me, like the two things, if I'm able to keep both, would be, continuing somewhat of a Let's Play schedule as well as continuing my tabletop gaming on my channel. I will probably realistically only be able to choose one, but we'll see which one. We'll see how it goes. We're gonna try. Yeah. So hopefully I will be able to put out a Final Fantasy Let's Play of this because it's such a great game that I can tell. I can tell right now it's going to be super amazing. And I would love to share my experience with you. Anyway, guys, that was really short and sweet. Thank you for watching my reaction. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Until next time, love yourselves and love each other.